I'm going to be doing the Torah portion this morning, and I'm not going to be teaching it per se. I'm just going to be facilitating and sharing some thoughts, and then have you guys share some of your thoughts also. So I'm just going to start with a word of prayer. Abba, we enter your courts with thanksgiving this morning. We thank you for this day that you have given us, where we get to rest and just abide in your presence, where we can let go of the world and all the distractions and just sit at your feet and read your word. Father, I thank you for your word, and I ask that you open our eyes to the revelation that you want to give us today. Soften our hearts, Father. May we not be stiff-necked. May we be open to whatever you have for us today. May your will be done. In Yeshua's name, amen. Who wants to be the first reader? It'll be Numbers 25, 10 through 26, 4. Anybody want that one? If not, I'll go ahead and read it. Numbers 25, 10 through 26, 4. I'll cover the first one. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned back my wrath from the children of Israel, because he was zealous with my zeal among them, so that I did not consume the children of Israel in my zeal. Therefore say, Behold, I give to him my covenant of peace, and it shall be to him and his descendants after him a covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God, and made atonement for the children of Israel. Now the name of the Israelite who was killed with the Midianite woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a leader of a father's house among the Simeonites. And the name of the Midianite woman who was killed was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. He was head of the people of a father's house in Midian. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Harass the Midianites and attack them, for they harassed you with their schemes by which they seduced you in the matter of Peor and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of a leader of Midian, their sister, who was killed in the day of the plague because of Peor. And it came to pass after the plague that the Lord spoke to Moses and Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saying, Take a census of all the congregation of the children of Israel from 20 years old and above by their fathers' houses, all who are able to go to war in Israel. So Moses and Eleazar the priest spoke with them in the plains of Moab by the Jordan, across from Jericho, saying, Take a census of the people from 20 years old and above, just as the Lord commanded Moses and the children of Israel who came out of the land of Egypt. So when I was reading this, the first thing that stuck out to me was the first verse, really, the second verse. How Phinehas was full of zeal for the Father. And it immediately made me think about Yeshua in John 2, where he's full of zeal for his Father's house. And how it's not necessarily anger, but it's zeal. So it's okay to have a little bit of intensity when it comes to the Father and his righteousness. Like sometimes we talk about how anger isn't good. But it's okay to have an intensity with some zeal. It's okay. So that's just what stuck out to me. Anybody have any comments?
In Ephesians, where it lists the gifts of the Spirit, it talks about putting on the cloak of zeal. So it is a godly thing. It's just how you use your zeal. You can be angry and sin not.
And another question to ask yourself is, can you be angry and sin not?
Any other comments on that portion?
Could you tell her to stop giving me a hard time? No, I'm just teasing. It's so interesting because we find ourselves in the last decade, because we have not used the cloak of zeal. We have not believed that we could be confident in our faith of Yahweh and what he wanted us to procure for our country. We have gotten into this situation because of the lack of zeal. So I do believe it's okay to, like you said, it's the cloak of zeal, and we have to be righteous for him, and we must start doing it now if we haven't already.
Yeah, that's a great point. Anybody else?
I find it very interesting that along with this zeal, which we have twice, right, we also have the covenant of peace. And Matthew 5:9 talks about peacemakers.
Anybody else? If not, okay, there's one more.
To go along with what Joe said and what Mike said about can we be angry? Are we allowed to be? In the weapons section, Ephesians 6, I forgot to mention, it also talks about putting on the garment of vengeance. So, yeah, we do have permission.
And so going to peace, blessed are the peacemakers, I have a photo of the word shalom using the ancient paleograph Hebrew letters, and each of those letters obviously has a word. But I teach a lot of individuals when they come in that I can't remember all the letters right now, but peace actually means in Hebrew, you having the dunamis power to destroy the authority attached to chaos. So that is what peace is. And we put the gospel of peace shot on our feet.
That's really good.
I'm going to make a comment from a slightly different vantage point here. As the zeal and this covenant of peace, part of what then we're doing a census of the young men that are going to go into war, the 20 years and up, and where are they at? They're near Jericho, right? They're getting ready to enter into the land to do what? To make war with a zeal to have peace.
I don't know if it was, I had to step out, so if this was discussed, please forgive me. But in my notes, I have about it was actually Hebrew defined as the broken man of peace. And in the Hebrew, there is the Vav, the Yud is written smaller, which means he was humble. And the Vav was broken, which then translates to the broken man of peace, which is a foreshadowing of Yeshua.
All right, can I have a reader for the second part, which will be 26:5 through 51? Nay, Zach's got it. Good luck, Zach.
The descendants of the sons of Reuben, Israel's firstborn, by Hanak, the Hanakite family, by Palu, the Paluite family, by Hezron, the Hezronite family, and by Carmi, the Carmite family. These Reubenite families numbered 43,730. The son of Palu was Eliab. The sons of Eliab were Nemuel, Dathan, and Abiram. These were Dathan and Abiram, who were the community leaders who rebelled against Moses and Aaron, and were among the following of Korah in their rebellion against Adonai. Then the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them with Korah, whose followers died when the fire consumed the 250 men, these men serving as a warning. Korah's sons, however, did not die. The sons of Simeon by their families were, by Nemuel, the family of the Nemuelites, by Jamin, the family of the Jaminites, by Jachin, the family of the Jachinites, by Zerach, the family of the Zerachites, and by Shaul, the family of the Shaulites. These families of the Simeonites numbered 22,200. The sons of Gad by their families were, by Zephon, the family of the Zephonites, by Haggai, the family of the Haggites, by Shuni, the family of the Shunites, by Ozni, the family of the Oznites, by Eri, the family of the Erites, by Arad, the family of the Aradites, by Areli, the family of the Arelites. The sons of Gad numbered 40,500. And Onan were the sons of Judah, but had died in the land of Canaan. The sons of Judah by their families were, by Shelah, the Shelonite family, by Perez, the Perezite family, by Zerach, the Zerachite family. The sons of Perez, by Hezron, the Hezronite family, by Hamul, the Hamulite family. These were the sons of Judah. They numbered 76,500. The sons of Issachar by their families were, Tola and the family of the Tolaites, by Puva, the Punite family, by Jashub, the Jashubite family, by Shimron, the Shimronite family. These were the families of Issachar. They numbered 64,300. The sons of Zebulun by their families were, by Sered, the family of the Seredites, by Elon, the family of the Elonites, by Jaleel, the family of the Jaleelites. These were the Zebulunite families. They numbered 60,500. The sons of Joseph by their families were Manasseh and Ephraim. The sons of Manasseh were, by Machir, the family of the Machirites. Machir fathered Gilead. By Gilead, the family of the Gileadites. The sons of Gilead were, by Iezer, the family of the Iezerites, by Helek, the Helekite family, by Azriel, the Azrielite family, by Shechem, the Shechemite family, by Shemitah, the Shemidaite family, by Hefer, the Heferite family. Hefer's son Zelophehad had no sons, only daughters. The names of Zelophehad's sons were Malah, Noah, Hagla, Milcah, and Tirzah. These were the sons of Manasseh. They numbered 52,700. These were the sons of Ephraim by their families. Of Shuthelah, of the Shuthelahite family. Of Becher, the Becherite family. Of Tahan, the Tahanite family. These were the sons of Shuthelah. Of Aran, the Aaronite family. These were the families of the sons of Ephraim. These numbered 32,500. These were the sons of Joseph by their families. The sons of Benjamin by their families were, by Bela, the Beliite family, by Ashbel, the Ashbelite family, by Ahiram, the Ahiramite family, by Shepham, the Shephamite family, by Hufam, the Hufamite family. The sons of Bela were Ard and Naaman. By Ard was the family of the Ardites, by Naaman, the family of the Naamanites. These were the sons of Benjamin. They numbered 45,600. These were the sons of Dan by their families, by Shuham, the Shuhamite family. These were the families of Dan by family. They were all Shuhamite families, and they numbered 64,400. The sons of Asher by their families were, by Imnah, the Imnite family, by Ishvi, the Ishvite family, by Beriah, the Berite family. Through the sons of Beriah, by Heber, the Heberite family, by Malchiel, the Malchielite family. The name of Asher's daughter was Sarah. These were the families of Asher's sons. They numbered 53,400. The sons of Naphtali by their families were, by Jaziel, the Jazilite family, by Guni, the Gunite family, by Jezer, the Jezrite family, by by Shalem, the Shilamite family. These were the sons of the families of Naphtali by their families. They numbered 45,400. These sons of Israel totaled 601,730.
Thank you, Zach. Any
No problem.
comments?
I just want to correct myself. The cloak of zeal and the garment of vengeance is in the Isaiah 59 rendering of the gifts, not the Ephesians one. Just in case anybody's checking me up.
Anybody else?
So it's kind of interesting in this section that they also list out the families of the Reubenites and give a small listing of the rebellion of Korah in with this. I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing that it's mentioned again, and I don't know if it's been touched on before or not, but we tend to focus a lot on Korah, but we don't realize that he had also teamed up with the sons of Reuben. And the sons of Reuben were, you can go back to the account in 16 and look, and they seem to be pretty bitter about the fact that their family wasn't ruling. Even though Reuben technically should have been ruling, but because of his sins, Yahweh took that away from him and passed it down. So it's just kind of one of those things where we have to realize that when there's things that we think that are supposed to be ours, but the Lord has said no, we need to honor that, and we need to not be bitter about that, because it can cause rebellion, and it can cause all kinds of bad things for other people as well, you know. And I guess another quick comment on the last section. So, why was the Lord's anger stirred up against Israel? And we have Phinehas who appeased the anger, but why was there anger there? Because the people had played the harlot, which they had mixed themselves with the nations. They had mixed worship of Yahweh with the nations, right? And so how it was kept in check was by Phinehas ended up killing the one person that had married to one of the leaders that had married one of these Midianite women. And it wasn't necessarily that he married somebody from the nations, it was the fact that he married someone who was worshiping other gods, and that they were mixing the worship. And it shows how much it upsets him when we mix the worship of him with the worship of the other nations. You know, where it says in the scripture, do not inquire about how the other nations worship their gods. So we have to be very careful, and it should always be a check in our heart and in our soul if what we're doing is what he requires, or if it's something that is of the nations for worshiping false gods. So, just my thought.
Those are both really good. Thank you.
Just in case we want to think about this idea, and those were great comments, and going along with we know that people died because of their sins. We also see that the numbering is pretty similar. It's not out. We had it in chapter 2, verse 32. It's real close to this number, the 6,001,730, and probably continues with that. And you think about everything that occurs and had occurred, it's kind of amazing that the numbers are pretty stable.
I wasn't going to say anything till you said that, Joe, so this is your fault. Actually, The numbers for Manasseh and Ephraim are totally flip-flopped. It's like one doubled and the other halved. And I brought it up before, I don't understand it. Yeah.
I think they've all been really good comments, yours in particular, Nate. I'm just amazed. Everything was created to worship our Lord, so the earth helped him in his zeal and in anger to destroy these individuals. But what surprises me from a human perspective, you read this, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, and there's no commentary about people falling to the ground or crying or any type of human response to what just happened. I just find that fascinating.
This is more of a question. Has anyone studied the order which the census was taken and why it's slightly different than what was done in Numbers 1 and 2? Just looking at the order in which they went from Reuben to Simeon, then to Gad, and Judah, Issachar, whereas in Numbers 1, it went from Reuben, Simeon, Gad, Judah, Issachar. Just some different ordering. I didn't know if anybody studied that was there any relevance or significance?
Guess nobody knows. Yep, now you guys have homework. Kevin's got something.
I don't have for sure, but I have bolded the second census was a fresh start from the remnant, and God's mercy can raise up a new legacy from past failures. And a new legacy, sometimes things change in that legacy because of things that transpired. So it's a new legacy, but it's just a little bit different than the first. I don't know if that helps, but...
Any other thoughts or comments? All right, we'll move on to the next part. It will be Numbers 26:52 through 27:5. Anybody want to read that?
Yehovah said to Moshe, "The land is to be parceled out among these as possession to be inherited according to the number of names. To those families with more persons you are to give a greater inheritance, and to those with fewer you are to give a smaller inheritance. Each family's inheritance is to be given according to the number counted in it. However, the land is to be awarded by lot. They will inherit according to the names of the tribes of their ancestors, but the inheritance is to be parceled out by lot between the families with more and those with fewer. Those counted among the Levi by their families were of Gershon, the family of Gershuni, of Khat, the family of Khati, of Merari, the family of Merari. These are the families of Levi, the family of the Levini, the family of Hevroni, the family of Machli, the family of the Mushi, and the family of Korchai. Khat was the father of Amram. The name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, the daughter of Levi, who was born to Levi in Egypt, and she bore to Amram, Aharon, Moshe, and their sister Miriam. To Aharon were born Nadav, Avihu, Eleazar, and Itmar. But Nadav and Avihu died when they offered unauthorized fire before Yehovah. Those males 1 month old or more, counted of the Levi, were 23,000. These were not included in the census of the people of Israel, because no land for inheritance was given to them among the people of Israel. These are the ones counted by Moshe and Eleazar the Cohen, who took a census of the people of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho. But there was not a man among them who had also been included in the census of Moshe and Aharon the Cohen when they enumerated the people of Israel in the Sinai desert, because Jehovah had said of them, "They will surely die in the desert." There was not left even one of them, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Yahashua the son of Nun. Then the daughters of Cholaf-Kad, the son of Hefer, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, approached. These were the names of his daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Haglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They stood in front of Moshe, Eleazar the Cohen, the leaders of the whole community at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and said, "Our father died in the desert. He wasn't part of the group who assembled themselves to rebel against Jehovah in Korah's group. But he died in his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should the name of our father be eliminated from his family just because he didn't have a son? Give us property to possess along with the brothers of our father." Moshe brought their cause before Jehovah.
Thank you very much. Any comments?
So in 53, it talks about divide the land up according to the number of their names. Going back to the comments earlier of some tribes increased, some tribes decreased. Just a thought that came through. This whole book of Numbers is in the wilderness. And we look at that as you go to the wilderness for spiritual growth. Everybody talks about, like we use that terminology today, you're in your wilderness journey, your trials, and this is where growth happens. So is the increase and decrease of tribes kind of correlated of physical blessing of spiritual growth? This tribe is increasing, where much has been given, much is required. And do you see that? Because the land isn't getting divided up evenly among, okay, so like there's 12 tribes, we're going to divide the land up in just 12 different portions, like by acreage or however you want to divide that up. It's by their increase. So I kind of I'm wondering if we can tie that and just kind of merge the thought process of like spiritual growth and more blessing and more increase because you were more faithful and you were physically blessed with more descendants, and tying everything back spiritually in that aspect.
Thank you.
I just want to say, I thought somebody else was going to say it. The last guy who read, his reading voice was perfect. Okay. I feel like as we're all growing to become one, we definitely need to compliment and nourish each other. And I'm surprised the next guy didn't say it. Like, that was amazing. Like, I was just like, yo, like, this could be an audiobook. Like, this was amazing. Okay. So that's all I had to say. And I'm kind of done. Okay. And I'm going to keep listening.
I ditto your comment. And Brian, your comment, I'm 100% in agreement with. And what came to my mind when I read this the first time is the parable that Yeshua said that there was someone that gave 10 minions and then it went down 10, 5, and 0. And going back to Yeshua, he said, I have given you dominion and you are to multiply and bless the earth. And so those two parables with this just came right up and supporting what Brian has said. We are to bless the land with our people.
That's good. Thank you. One thing I found interesting, kind of tying into our faith in the increase, is how Caleb and Joshua were the only ones. And the only reason is because they had more faith than the others. So I just found that interesting. Any others? All right. Can I have a reader for the fourth part, which will be Numbers 27:6 through verse 23. 27:6 through 23.
Yehovah answered Moshe, "The daughters of Zelophehad are right in what they say. You must give them property to be inherited along with that of their father's brothers. Have what their father would have inherited passed to them. Moreover, say to the people of Israel, if a man dies and does not have a son, you are to have his inheritance passed to his daughter. If he doesn't have a daughter, give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, give his inheritance to his father's brothers. If his father doesn't have brothers, give his inheritance to the closest relative in his family, and he will possess it. This will be the standard for judgment to be used by the people of Israel as Yehovah ordered Moshe." Yehovah said to Moshe, "Climb this mountain." "Climb this mountain in the Avarim range and look out at the land which I have given the people of Israel. After you have seen it, you too will be gathered to your people, just as Aaron your brother was gathered. Because in the Zin desert, when the community was disputing with me, you rebelled against my order to uphold my holiness by means of the water, with them looking on." This was the Marat Kadesh spring in the Zin desert. Moshe said to Yehovah, "Let Yehovah, Elohim of the spirits of all human beings, appoint a man to be over the community, to go out and come in ahead of them, to lead them out and bring them in, so that Yehovah's community will not be like sheep without a shepherd." Yehovah said to Moshe, "Take Yehoshua, the son of Nun, a spiritual man, and lay your hand on him. Put him in front of Eleazar the Kohen and the whole community and commission him in their sight. Delegate to him some of your authority so that the entire community of Israel will obey him. He is to present himself to Eleazar the Kohen, who is to find out by means of the Urim what Yehovah's will is for Yehoshua's decisions. Then, at his word, they will go out, and at his word, they will come in. Both he and all the people of Israel with him, the whole community." Moshe did as Yehovah had ordered him. He took Yehoshua, put him before Eleazar the Kohen and the whole community, laid his hands on him, and commissioned him as Yehovah had said through Moshe.
Thank you for that reading. Any comments? Something I found really interesting is how Joshua wasn't just titled, but he was equipped before. So he wasn't just made a leader, he was actually equipped beforehand for that position. Which makes me think, whatever position you're in, you have everything you need because the Father has prepared it in advance. So I just found that interesting. Any other comments? Michael, do you want this?
I just take note that Joshua was beside Moses since Mount Sinai and before, and he was also take note that he was a servant with Moses, a very close man to him. So I think it's a very good shadow of learning the very first thing to do is learning how can I serve. And if you give that heart to Yah, then that's who Yah recognizes he's my next leader, as one who's willing to serve the people. He's not there for himself. He's not there for his own gain. He's there because he's here to serve.
That was really good. Thank you, Michael. Any others?
I actually want to comment on your comment. Like, I feel like the Father definitely prepares us. And in the preparation, I feel like when it comes to like business or just like groups or anything that you take on, that opportunity or that whatever you're taking on is like is the development ground. It's like that's where you have to lean on the Father in those moments. You know what I'm saying? It's like even as to what's to come with Joshua, you know, like that's the building ground. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That was good. Thank you. Any others?
Well, I did a question that I'd be interested in hearing an answer for is both Joshua and Pinchas I can't even say it, but were foreshadowing of Yeshua. Why was one picked over the other? They both had zeal. They both had, and just a thought.
Okay. So Pinchas was, you're talking about why Joshua was chosen to lead the people into the land over Pinchas. Pinchas was from the descendants of obviously Aaron and then Eleazar. And then so he's selected to be where the line of the priestly continues. And you can see that through, if you read through Kings and Chronicles, the descendant that keeps going down through there. What tribe was Joshua from? Ephraim? Okay, Ephraim, different tribe, different position that is needed for, not needed, but like they had different paths. Both paths are very important.
Kevin, what I've come to understand from Psalm 139:16, all the days were written for me before one of them ever came to be, which suggests to me is that there is something written about my entire life in the scroll of heaven, and that is true for each of us. So if the Lord has written something about me that I am supposed to do, that I'm appointed to do, then that is my calling to do it. If, however, like Michael said, Joshua had all these other attributes where he's following, I think, his scroll, or he's following line by line items of what he's supposed to do, and then he can advance to the next item on the scroll that is part of his calling. So that's how I make sense of all that, is that particular heavenly scroll that's written about me. And I'll tell you, I've been way off my scroll for a long time. About time I got back on it.
Any others?
I'm looking here at Moshe's response in verse 15. After he once again receives the judgment, even though he petitioned many times to be permitted to enter the promised land. Yet we see the acceptance here at this point. And he's ready to pass the mantle on. And I was reflecting on this we think in terms of maybe accession plans, preparing for this transition. And of course, Moshe had to be completely aware that Yehoshua was the one, the best qualified. But here you see a level of humility and submission to Yehovah, because he wants that to be known by the people that this is Yehovah's decision, and that he is submitting himself to the will of Yehovah himself, and that they also need to submit to the will of Yehovah and the leadership of Yehoshua. So.
That's very good. Thank you.
I thought it was interesting in the vein of all things being a shadow, pointing to Yeshua, how Moshe's life, and we know that he's one of the biggest shadows of Yeshua, but Moshe, he led the people, but he had to die before they entered the promise. And just like Yeshua led the people, taught the people, and he had to die before we entered into the promise of eternity. So some thematic connections there. And I also really like verse 22 where it says, Moshe did as Jehovah had ordered him. And that's a common theme through Moshe's life. That's something that we can all choose to attempt in everything that we do in our lives, because you can't go wrong if you try to do what Jehovah orders you.
Thank you for that connection and that word on obedience. That was really good.
I thought you were going to say it, Aaron, when you started talking, but one of the things that stuck out to me in that was where he talked about, in verse 16, appoint a man over the congregation, and then in verse 17 it talks about so that they will not be like sheep which have no shepherd. And Yeshua, remember in the Gospels where he looked at the people and he said they were like sheep without a shepherd. And these were the people of Israel, And he says, "I am the good shepherd." So yes, he's a shadow. Moses was a shepherd over the people in the shadow picture, and pointing to Yeshua, and it's kind of a connection right there where he says, "I am the good shepherd," So I just thought that was interesting. And then Joshua was from the tribe of Ephraim. Does anybody know what tribe Caleb was from? Judah. But he was the son of it. Huh? Yes, he was the son of a convert, of a Canaanite convert. And in the shadow picture, it makes me wonder, is this not something that may be telling the future of a convert in the tribe of Judah and one from the tribe of Ephraim leading God's people into the promised land?
Any other thoughts or comments? Thank you, sir. If I can have a reader read the 5th part, which will be Numbers 28, 1 through 15.
And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Command the children of Israel, and you shall say to them, Take heed to bring my offering, my food, for my offerings made by fire, as a sweet fragrance to me, at their appointed time. And you shall say to them, This is the offering made by fire, which you bring to Yahweh, 2 male lambs a year old, perfect ones, daily, a continual ascending offering. The one lamb you prepare in the morning, and the other lamb you prepare between the evenings, with 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a grain offering mixed with 1/4 of a hin of pressed oil, a continual ascending offering which was offered at Mount Sinai for a sweet fragrance, an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And its drink offering, 1/4 of a hin for each lamb. Pour out the drink to Yahweh as an offering in the set-apart place. And the other lamb you prepare between the evenings, as the morning grain offering and its drink offering. You prepare it as an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And on the Sabbath day, 2 lambs a year old, perfect ones, and 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a grain offering, mixed with oil, with its drink offering. The ascending offering for every Sabbath, besides the continual ascending offering with its drink offering. And on the beginnings of your new moons you bring near an ascending offering to Yahweh, 2 young bulls and 1 ram, and 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones, 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour as grain offering, mixed with oil for each bull, 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a grain offering, mixed with oil for the 1 ram, and 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for each lamb, as an ascending offering of sweet fragrance, an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And their drink offering is 1/2 a hin of wine for a bull, and 1/3 of a hin for a ram, and 1/4 of a hin for a lamb. This is the ascending offering for each new moon throughout the new moons of the year. And 1 male goat as a sin offering to Yahweh is prepared beside the continual ascending offering and its drink offering.
Thank you, Holden. Any comments on that? If not, since we're running low on time, we'll go ahead and go to the next part, which will be Numbers 28:16 through 29:11. Anybody willing to read that?
You said through 29:11?
Yes.
Okay. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month is Yahweh's Passover. On the 15th day of this month shall be a feast. Unleavened bread shall be eaten for 7 days. And the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no regular work, but you shall offer an offering made by fire, a burnt offering to Yahweh. 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old. They shall be without defect. And their meal offering, fine flour mixed with oil, you shall offer 3/10 for a bull, 2/10 for the ram, and shall offer 1/10 for every lamb of the 7 lambs. And 1 male goat for a sin offering to make atonement for you. You shall offer these in addition to the burnt offerings of the morning, which is for a continual burnt offering. In this way you shall offer daily for 7 days the food of the offering made by fire of a pleasant aroma to Yahweh. It shall be offered in addition to the continual burnt offering and its drink offering. On the 7th day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no regular work. Also, in the day of the first fruits, when you offer a new meal offering to Yahweh in your Feast of Weeks, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no regular work, but you shall offer a burnt offering for a pleasant aroma to Yahweh, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old, and their meal offering, the fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 for each bull, 2/10 for 1 ram, and 1/10 for every lamb of these 7 lambs. 1 male goat shall make and 1 male goat to make atonement for you. Besides the continual burnt offering and its meal offering, you shall offer them and their drink offerings. See that they are without defect. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall have a holy convocation, and you shall do no regular work. It is a day of blowing of shofars to you. You shall offer a burnt offering for a pleasant aroma to Yahweh, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old without defect, and their meal offerings, fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 for the bull, 2/10 for the ram, and 1/10 for every lamb of the 7 lambs, and 1 male goat for a sin offering to make atonement for you. In addition to the burnt offerings of the Chodesh with its meal offering, and the continual burnt offering with its meal offering, and their drink offerings, according to their ordinance, for a pleasant aroma, an offering made by fire to Yahweh. On the 10th day of the 7th month, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall afflict your souls. You shall do no kind of work. But you shall offer a burnt offering to Yahweh for a pleasant aroma, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. And their meal offerings, fine flour mixed with the oil, 3/10 for the bull, 2/10 for 1 ram, and 1/10 for every lamb of these 7 lambs. It was through 10, right? 11. Oh, 11. And 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the sin offering of atonement, and the continual burnt offering and its meal offerings and their drink offerings.
Thank you. Sean, how much time do we have left? All right, with that, I'm going to close in prayer. Father, I thank you for just speaking through your word, opening our eyes to things that we haven't seen before. Abba, I thank you for this day. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. You are so good. We love you. In Yeshua's name, amen.